and welcome to a new episode of Hobo, a wandering podcast about cinema, summer edition. In the last episode with our co-host Ricardo, we talked to French director Julien Fauré about his film The Witches of the Orient. So, of course, as always, if you missed it, we suggest you to check it out. Now our journey through international cinema takes us to Philippines. At the end of April, we were at the Far East Film Festival in Udine, and we had the chance to interview Filipino director Martica Ramirez Escobar about her future debut, Leonor Will Never Die, alongside the protagonist of the film, Sheila Francisco, a singer and a veteran of the theater. Ramirez Escobar has created an exciting and strange film about a retired filmmaker who gets bonked on the head by a television accidentally thrown out from a window. Leonor sinks into a coma, and from there the film chiefly takes us inside a writer's head, entering into her own unfinished script for one of her action movies. The handsome, muscle hero of this unfinished film shares the same name as Leonor, deceased son. So, Leonor Will Never Die is a film about cinema, but also a film about grief.
Hi Davide, and welcome to this summer edition of Hobo. In Leonor Will Never Die, we see how a mother grieves and picks up the pieces of her life by putting it into words. We get to watch Leonor finish her screenplay by living it as an action grandma who is both omnipresent and a witness to the words she's stringing along. It's absurd, fantastical, an absolute joy to watch. It's a love letter to filmmaking, from the Filipino action films from the 70s and 80s to the personal toils of birthing one's passion film. We recorded this interview at the Far East Film Festival in Udine last April, and we hope you'll enjoy it. The film was screened here in Udine after the world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival. The Far East audience was enthusiastic and responded very well to the screening. Did you expect such a positive reaction?
We didn't expect to have such a large crowd. When we were making this film, we had small dreams for it. We wanted to screen in a cinema, and my expectation is to have at least 10 people in the crowd. So to see all the people last night and to see them clapping and cheering for everyone, it's just unforgettable. It's surreal, to be honest.
Very surreal. I shared it last night before the screening. As Marty said, we just wanted to have our film in the cinema to be seen by people, but never expected that we would do it the first time, at least for me, here in Udine. So it's very special, and very emotional, because it was my first time to see the film on a big screen. So it was wonderful, especially that the people have received it so warmly. We knew we had something good, but we thought that it was good because we know about it and we like it ourselves. But for people to share that feeling was truly extra special.
Can I add something? I think it's more about the festival itself too. I've been here before, and it really has that, I don't know, energy. It's like it hugs you as a film lover, and that's why I'm really happy to have our Italian premiere here. And our project was part of 2 initiatives before in Focus Asia and Ties That Bind. And when I saw them, my former mentors, our script consultants, they were waiting for us after the screening. It was just like, oh, thank you. Yeah, full circle. Really special. So thank you.
So after the screening, several people approached to ask for autographs and ask you questions about the film. What did they tell you?
Oh, they were saying wonderful things about it. Many of them said that it doesn't feel right for me to say, but they did say that it was their favorite in the festival. And it felt, I don't know, that's really nice. I don't know if they say it to every film they see, but they did say that they looked sincere in that. And it just blessed us so much. I didn't expect that either. I didn't expect that either, for them to come and ask for our autographs and ask us about it. They were just so interested. It was so real, and it just wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
Martika, you were on the Ties That Bind program a few years ago. How did that experience help you to develop this project?
We were in Taisatbayan in 2018, and Taisatbayan sort of trains the producers to package the film, to develop the film and the project. And I was there as an observer. It's really for producers, but I wanted to attend, so I was able to attend all the sessions and get feedback from our script consultant. So it really helped in such a way that we were able to get close feedback for the project. They gave us tips on how to market the film. A poster would really help find an audience for your film. For the script, they taught us how to write a proper synopsis, the log line, everything we needed professionally. Because I'm a new filmmaker. I'm very young. I don't know what I'm doing. So to receive professional advice, it sort of led us to more opportunities. So I'm super thankful for Taisatbayan. And I remember Claire Downs, our script consultant before, she was there in the screening and she said that she liked the film. So after that, I was like, oh, thank you. Because she's a writer and it matters to me for a writer to appreciate it because I'm such a bad writer. So to see her happy with the film is special also.
So I would like to know, what was it like working together on this film for so long?
All right, let me be very honest. She's a tyrant. No, come on. When I was first offered this film, I said I really want to meet the director. I want to hear her vision, and I haven't heard of Marty before I met her, so I didn't know that she would be this young, and that really made it was an attractive material because here she is, very ladylike, as you can see, very young at 27. She comes up to me and says, well, I'm making an action film about the grandma. So hang on a minute. Let me hear what she has to say. So it got me very curious. She shared her vision with me. And that's all she needed to do. I said, okay, if this girl wants to do this, I think I'm going to jump in and ride with that vision. It was very attractive the way she explained it to me. So, yes.
But yeah, it was such a pleasure working with all of them because they were willing to jump into this uncertain mode of filmmaking. We all knew that we weren't sure about what this film would be, but since we were all in it, it was an enjoyable process, and it felt like working with friends. And when you work with friends, it's not always good. There were ups and downs. It was physically difficult, creatively difficult also. But I mean, we all shared the same spirit of wanting to collaborate and wanting to keep a peaceful set. So it was always fun. It was difficult, but it was always fun.
I mean, you can't help it. You can't help it, but
It's what it is.
that there will be problems in any production, whatever, delays or weather. That's going to happen, but money. But I think there was such respect for each other, very much so. And if you are not ready to run with that vision, it wouldn't have turned out this way. But we were all in agreement in what we wanted to achieve, and that is not as clear as it is right now. Then, well, we were believing in it. I think that's what it is. You have to believe in it, and we all did.
Mutual trust.
Mutual trust.
It's like
yeah,
relationships in real life.
absolutely.
Building the look for Leonor's fantasy movie, were you referencing specific Pinoy films?
I wasn't trying to replicate specific Pinoy films. It's more of what I remember from watching these action films on TV. So there aren't any titles I can give you. It's more of what I remember and what's familiar for me and for everyone who knows the experience of watching an action film replay on TV. And it's easy to recall, right? The color is faded, the grain, the shots, the zooms. It's something you can ask a Filipino person, what is an action film? They can describe it, and that's how we made the look and sound of the action world.
The work done on the action scenes allowed the film to be a homage without ever becoming a parody of the genre. How did you work on this thin line?
I think intentionally it wasn't intentionally supposed to be, oh, that scene's intentionally supposed to be funny. It wasn't even the way we were, our minds were working at that time. But, it just turns out to be, okay, yeah, that is funny, so let's go with it. But there was no intention doing that. And it's really about real life. It happens. There was no concentrated effort. Okay, we have to temper it and temper. No, I think it was the most natural thing for us, wasn't it?
It really, even at the beginning, it wasn't meant to be a parody. I just wanted to make an action film out of, and I think it's the sincerity that found its place in the film. So it also matters to just follow what you think is right and to care about the material, to care about the action films of the past, and to not treat it as if you're making fun of it. So, and we were all aligned in that aspect. That's why it turned out to be something more of a homage than a parody. It was something, but I remember telling the team about that. This shouldn't be making fun of previous action films. So they were very careful of that.
Two actors turned politicians, Fernando Poe Jr. and Joseph Estrada, loom over the film. How has your perception of them changed over time?
How does my perception of them change over time? I think it's more of how their being a president and an almost president affected our nation. It reflects more on how the people see these stars beyond their characters on screen. Sometimes I think maybe it's because we Filipinos think that we need to be saved by an action hero. That's why we feel that when they're running for a position, we want them because they can save us. So it's more reflective of how we think and how, I guess, cinema is so powerful that it can change how we think of the world. And, until today, and it's not only in the Philippines, it's something that happens everywhere. And that's both magical and at the same time, it says a lot about how powerful and scary. Yeah. Thank you.
Is there something of the cinema of the 70s that you are missing in today's cinema?
Do you want to answer first or I'll answer first? Yeah. I think it's the spirit of watching something really different from real life. And as much as I wouldn't want to say it's nice to watch violence, but the action films are like seen by the community, by a family at home, because it's exciting. It's something you don't see often. That's why it allows us to gather together in a certain space. And yeah, so that's what I remember from watching action films, and that's why it's the genre also I chose to explore in this film.
I also see, I see that especially the Filipinos, we want a savior. We want the savior. Things are, the way it is back home hasn't changed all that much. And so when we see an action hero, there's an aspirational value to that. It's like, okay, we need him. That's why they win in elections. When Fernando Poe runs, or Joseph Estrada, or the newer politicians, it's that. I think innately we're saying we need a savior, and he saved that person over there, and he saved that town. Maybe he can save our country. So I think there's that. There's that.
Yeah, she said it better. What I wanted to say.
No, something like that.
It's true.
It's true.
There is a very active movement of young directors in the Philippines who have produced several innovative films, such as Edward by Top Nazareno and others. What do you think this renewed energy is due to?
Oh no, why do I think that's the trend now? I think it's because filmmaking can be so accessible now that we are allowed to explore creatively. We are more free, especially for a film like ours that's not under a studio. Edward is not under a studio also. So we might be working with a smaller budget, but we have more creative freedom, which results to films that are quite unconventional or, I don't know, different from what we usually see. So I think it really depends on who your backers are for the project. Because if you're working under a studio, it's not going to be as free as we want. So, and I think it's also the support we have from fellow filmmakers. So it's usually in the Philippines we help each other. We work on each other's films. I know Thop. So it's also the support that gives us the confidence to make these films, even if they're not so, even if they're a bit risky.
How did you work on the original songs that appear in the film?
I didn't write this, but there is a musician in the Philippines. Her name is Ali Cabral. Super amazing. I worked with her on 4 of my films already, and when she writes and makes a song, it's just magic. So I asked her to make 3 songs for the film, and she did. So the last song is one of the first songs she made for the film, and it's beautiful. She just understands what the film needs, and it happens.
She listens and she gets it. She gets
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The first time I heard the music is because I sing the music. So first time I heard the music and I knew that the inspiration was 70s sound. The 70s sound. When I listened to it, I actually stopped and I said, "Did you make this music?" And she's very humble. And she said, "Yes, I did." She captured it, absolutely, and I love it. In fact, I'm going to release my album. I'm going to release it as a single. No. I just had so much fun recording it. Just really lovely.
During the screening, the audience responded very emotionally to the film's music. Did it surprise you?
Yes, pleasantly surprised. I suppose we're all storytellers, right? I'm an actor. I'm a storyteller. So is she, but not everybody understands sometimes what you want to try to say. And last night, because I haven't seen the film in a while, since December, and I haven't seen it on the big screen. So I was watching it. It was a very surreal feeling, and then towards the end, I was saying, "Oh my God, this is it. I'm going to hear what they feel about the music. They either get it, the movie, they either get it or they don't, or they'll be really just nice about it." And I was preparing myself. So when it was at the end and people just showed so much love for it, that was really, really amazing. And I kept telling her, they got it, they did. We must be doing something good. We must have done something good. So it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling.
I think it's the last scene of the film where when we shot it, it was raining really hard. We were delayed. We were all like, how are we gonna finish this film?
It's of a storm.
Yeah, but we were all together still enjoying. That was our production team in the last shot behind her. So I was very happy that the joy we felt on set extended to the audience. It felt familiar. I was like, oh, this is the same feeling I had when we were all together on set while you were on a crane up in the sky.
I'm scared of heights.
Yes.
I'm scared of heights. So when she told me that, okay, you are going to be lifted up while singing the last string of this, I was, how high? And then she says, as high. I was so scared. I said, no. And then, but when we were doing it, I really didn't feel scared at all. I didn't. You should have. But yes, so there was so much joy. I remember shooting that bit together.
And I think one of my other dreams also is to have that extended feeling, like to have a feeling on set in the film and to have it extend to the audience is one of the goals. And to see and hear the people cheering for the film means that, oh, okay, dream achieved. Yeah.
So, as a final question, we would like to know, were all the meta-cinematographic elements of the film foreseen in the script, or were they added later?
It wasn't on the script, but it was something I've always felt was going to be there. That's why even before we made our first cut, I already collected footage from the readings, from the casting. I collected photos from our shoot because I had a feeling that it was going to be there. And, you know, after failing so much, trying out different endings, we tried incorporating the behind the scenes footage until we still didn't have an ending after exporting 25 versions of the film. We tried to record or act my conversation with the editor, and that's the conversation that appears in the film. So, yeah. This is our best screening. I feel it's different. I couldn't even describe it. So I would love to be back in the future. But the film Leonor, I have this. I don't know. I would describe it as my childhood as a filmmaker. So that era is sort of over. I want to explore different types of more. How do you describe it? Spontaneous and organic type of films, and in the next films, if ever. So it's gonna be another half decade of exploring myself and others, you know. But yeah, let's see. It's hard to tell because it's really difficult to make a film, right? And it takes up so much soul and time and spirit. And you know, even us, our relationship, it's the first time we met was in 2018, and it's almost half a decade of working on it.
I'm just waiting for her to do something with me in it again. That's all.
Leonardo. You'll undergo everything again in the warehouse.
Because she never dies, she never dies. So there's a new experience, a new, I don't know. This woman, you can't stop her. She's going to think about something again. And it won't take 8 years.
I don't know. Let's see. You can never tell.
We hope anyway.
Well, thank you very much, and we will see you on the next episode of Obo. So enjoy your summer, and see you next.